folks, we've got Kendra in the house. Kendra, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are
Fired
you?
up?
I am.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do today?
What did I do today?
Yeah, I know you told me a little bit about what you did before, but not any detail. I've got to know.
Like, do you want from like the moment that my alarm went off?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm?
Well, I typically go and do like the tongue scraper. It's really important.
Yeah, me too.
The very first thing I do.
Ayurvedic.
Oh, yeah, it's important. And if you're not tongue scraping, you need to start,
Everybody.
So brush my teeth. It's the very first thing in the morning. And then hydration is really important. I did skip breakfast today. Went straight to the coffee. Told you I drink caffeine.
Yeah.
But I do it a little differently. I do make it very bougie. It's important.
What does that look like?
So I do collagen.
Yeah.
And MCT oil and a little cinnamon. And I do like the lowest pasture, like what is that? Low pastured
Milk.
cream, whipping cream.
Oh.
Right. So it's like the best you can get that's not raw.
Mm-hmm.
So do it that way. And
Did you get that at the farmer's market?
I didn't get that at the farmer's market.
Oh.
I got it at Sprouts.
One up for Sprout.
Yeah, you can find some good stuff there.
Yeah. So how do you get in the zone for your day? Because I know that you're using your mind a lot. People count on you, and you've got to be super intentional of how you approach things.
Yeah, I'm really big on meditation first thing, so I do that. It's like the first thing I typically do is meditate. I do like a guided meditation sometimes, or I'll just do a playlist that I like. But it's funny because it's, sometimes we have resistance to doing that, but it really does give us that time to really just like get into our bodies and just really like let ourselves connect with ourselves before we connect with the world. So it's really important.
I think it's underrated, no?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it really is. It's one of those where I think people go, I should do that, but they don't. But there's a reason why they think they should, because we know on some level that it's going to help us. It's going to change our life probably. I remember I thought that way before I started doing it.
Yeah. How long have you been doing it?
It's been a couple years, but I mean, I'm not one of those that does it every single day. Like I go through phases where I do well with it, and then I might be journaling instead, or doing, I've been trying to do morning pages, which is, if you've heard of that, it's actually like a really powerful ritual where you just basically dump out your thoughts first thing in the morning without trying to even think about anything else. And it's like stream of consciousness coming straight through you. So journaling in general is a stream of consciousness. It's your intuition speaking to you basically a lot of the time. So sometimes when people ask, a lot of my work's around intuition. So it's like, how do I tap into that? How do I listen? How do I learn what that sounds like?
Yeah, I was having a conversation in the last podcast how we are one with pen and paper. What does that mean to you?
How we are one with? To me, it's kind of that concept of, we have so many thoughts all the time. I mean, we're running on thoughts and autopilot a lot of the time. We don't know what they even are. We don't take the space to really listen to them. So when you can sit down and give yourself intentional time to put it out on paper, you're literally seeing what's going on the inside, on the outside.
Yes.
So I can see that being.
Sounds therapeutic.
Absolutely. It is. It's very therapeutic.
I've heard it been called a brain dump, though.
You can call it a brain dump.
I think the way you say it's much nicer.
Well, thanks.
The morning pages.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a specific ritual, actually. I think it's even in a book that I haven't read, but it's one of my books on the list.
Yeah.
I believe that's The Artist's Way, but she talks about it.
The Artist's Way.
I want to say that's the one.
I think I have that book.
I have that book, too.
Well, good. Now, Kendra, what do you have going on right now in business?
Oh, man.
I really want to tap into this because you're helping people and it's important.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I feel like, I feel like there's always a lot going on, but in general, my work has surrounded around your purpose, around your Dharma. That's essentially your soul's purpose. A lot of times people think purpose and we think just work, but mine goes beyond work. It goes into the soul of who you are and why you came to Earth as a soul, being a human, right? And so it's like we all want to know. It's kind of the reason we're here is to find that out. And so if I can help people tap into that and find that out, then, more people are not dying with regret, basically.
Yeah. That's definitely a powerful mission that you're on.
Yeah.
And I think that speaking to that, it's very hard for people to find their Dharma because there's so many external influences.
Absolutely.
So where do you start? Let's say somebody calls you up and they want your help. What does it look like?
Yeah. I think it is hard. because we question ourselves a lot. And that's where like knowing yourself well is really important, and knowing how to listen to your intuition aside from not just your ego, right? And not just what you think you should be doing or what society tells you to do, or again, the external influences, like you said. It's, really getting clear on like, who am I? What calls me? Like, what's my true desires? And not just that, a huge part of your Dharma is actually tied to the experiences of your life. And so figuring out the patterns of your life and like, what things did you overcome? It's a lot of stuff is found in things we've overcome and the things that excite us. It's kind of those two things are really big pillars, and finding it.
Yeah, excitement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was having a conversation about this the other day. You've got to have the excitement in your endeavors.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
They're there for a reason. Your excitement is like the breadcrumbs to your Dharma. The excitement is, you have that for a reason because you're supposed to be enjoying it. It's the things that you lose track of time doing.
Yeah. I'd like to talk about a radical shift with perhaps one of your clients where they were doing this and then you worked together and they started doing that, whatever that is.
Yeah, one of the frameworks in my work is the archetypes. We call them. I call it the soul signature. Archetypes. Our soul has a unique signature, like a thumbprint. It's unique to us, and so that's actually something we create, is this blueprint. But one of the pillars of that is this archetype, and there's 9 archetypes we work with, and it's interesting because people love to identify with things, and so you get to learn like, who am I? How do I express myself the most? Actually, how do I show up the best? And this client of mine, it just confirmed everything he believed about himself and thought he loved, but he was kind of like, but I'm good at this, I'm doing this thing. But it confirmed what he was really kind of being pulled towards.
Sure.
He literally changed a 20-year career when he found this out, because he's like, yep, I know it now. Like, it gave him this confirmation, this validation to really like listen to that.
Wow. And to have someone like yourself kind of reaffirm that.
Yeah.
Right? Like somebody that supports that new initiative in their lives. I think it's huge.
Well, yeah. And it's like interesting because what I love about, coaching and stuff is it's not even so much like, it's like I'm kind of pulling stuff out of people that they already know, but they almost need to just hear it. They need to like get the reflection, and they need to be able to see higher perspectives that they just are like too close to sometimes,
Yeah. What would you say that the number one reason is people fall into these, let's call it a pitfall or a trap of doing something that they're not called to do? What's that all about? Because it happens to so many people.
Yeah, I truly believe that. Here's the thing. When you boil everything down, and this is a lot of the work I do, is not just, about purpose and alignment, but it's like more than that. It's beyond that. It's what's at the core of what you're saying, like the pitfalls is usually people they go around the world wanting to feel safe and worthy. And a lot of people don't feel safe and they don't feel worthy. So they're kind of like outsourcing that in ways without realizing that they're falling into these traps of like just trying to outsource again to feel safe and to feel worthy in something. And sometimes that comes in just a safe job or, what society tells you to do because it's safe. It's a lot of this comes down to safety a lot of the time. People have these inklings or these nudges, but they don't trust it. And so that comes down to trusting themselves as well. And some people don't feel like they've gained the confidence or, again, the self-trust. They don't feel like they're, people aren't there yet. So,
well, it sounds like you found your Dharma. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to veer that it's safe to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What did the process look like for you to stumble upon this?
Yeah, I mean,
where were you in life when you said, you know what, this is what I have to do. This is my calling.
It's kind of, and I think a lot of people probably relate to this, but it's a lot of years of, it's trial and error, but it's like years of knowing and ignoring it and ignoring it more, and then doing a little bit, and then it's like you get to that tipping point of like, I know I'm meant for more. I know I have so much more to offer. I'm not living up to my potential. And you're just like, I'm sick of this. I'm not going to live my life wishing I would have. Like, and I've really been that person kind of most of my life. I've always been a risk taker. I've always been someone who's like, I'm not living with regret. But it's like, sometimes I think you have to build. I had to go through healing of like the things that got me to like listen to myself, trust myself, listen to my intuition, and have enough confidence to like really say, I'm going all in on this.
Yeah.
Because I do think the nudges and the whispers are there. It's not like most people aren't walking around completely unaware. People know, they just don't trust it.
Dang. People know, they just don't trust it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when I reflect upon my life, real estate presented itself over and over and over again. And then when I moved to Austin, I said, it's time. Because I had nothing going on.
Yeah.
I didn't. I just graduated college, and I said, I've got to do this. I don't know why. I've had to, because the signs are there. It's going to present itself to you, right?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? That just made me think is like people also want all the answers before they do something. And the thing is, you don't get the answers before doing it. You have to start because the answers start to come to you and reveal themselves to you as you go. You can usually only see like 2 steps ahead. And that's the best thing is when you go into that, you go, oh, all of a sudden synchronicities happen, things start to align, doors open, and you start to reveal the steps. But people want 10 steps down the road, but you just can't have that yet.
No. So what would you call that? To stop looking 10 steps down the road?
It's that, a lot of things. Faith, trust fall. Like I've been saying that a lot. Surrender. You have to believe in yourself. Again, it comes down to, it's really getting to a place where you feel safe within yourself. You're like, I got me no matter what. I'm going to figure this out no matter what. I'll be okay. But I know that I won't be okay if I don't try. And so I think people have to get to that point where they're like, I'm sick of my own shit and I am going to at least try because if I don't, I will regret this. I can't be 80 years old going, what if I had?
Yeah. No regrets. Because that's going to sting.
Yeah.
I think that's going to hurt worse than trying and failing.
Absolutely. It's the number one regret of the dying. Did you know that?
Number one
regret of the dying is not living a life true to yourself.
Did you read that book?
I haven't read that book, but I have learned a lot of the lessons from it through other teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real thing, by the way. Dying people have a list of regrets, and that's number one. So So don't do it. All right?
Do it.
Don't have the regret.
And it's like, yeah, you have to, it's like living a life true to yourself, meaning you have to know yourself. You need to get to know you, and you need to get to know what you're here to do. And then you need to go all in on that.
So you said you've always been a risk taker?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What comes to mind the moment you say that? What kind of risks have you been taking, Kendra?
All kinds of risks. I think it's not a lack of fear. And I think people look at that. They've been telling me, you're brave for so long, right? But it's like, I guess brave is not lack of fear. It's the courage to do it anyway. It's that feel the fear and do it anyway. And I think it was, I remember being so young and knowing that I just didn't want to live with regrets because back then that word was big. I feel like when you're young, you're like, no regrets, no regrets.
Can be.
And so I was always like, there was this Mark Twain quote I got into real young that was like, I think it was something about I'd rather live a life. Oh my gosh, I don't remember it actually right.
No sweat. It's out there.
It's something about regrets though. And basically another one is I'd rather have a life of oh wells than what ifs. And just all those types of quotes spoke to me so deeply at a core level, when I was really young. So I just was like, I'm going to try things. I'm going to at least try so that I know. I think if you had to ask where it came from, I think it's growing up watching people settle around me. I think a lot of people just settled for a very mediocre life and for things that weren't making them happy. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
How'd that make you feel watching those people settle?
You just think it's confusing because you're like, that doesn't make sense. You don't seem happy. You don't seem fulfilled. Your life is just kind of passing you by and we only live once. And I'm not going to feel like that, in this one wild and precious life that I have.
Well, when it comes to taking action on those thoughts and feelings, what did you do initially?
I think a big one is when you grow up in a small town, it's leaving. A lot of people say they want to go and they don't, but I was not going to be that person. Yeah. So yeah, it was just getting out of there. And since then I've done, 4 major moves across the country. I have traveled solo to different places. I've just not waited for things. I went and done things I wanted to do and even in work, there was many times I've gotten dream jobs because I was like, oh, I want to do that. And so I would email a bunch of people until I got an answer and I would just go for it, and it worked. Just all kinds of stuff.
Serious?
Yeah.
Are your parents like this?
Not really.
No.
But it's one of those things I think you grow up sometimes with role models, and my parents are great, so it's not that. Or you grow up with people that you watch things they do and you want to do it different.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah,
because not everybody can say it that way, or not everybody has had the opportunity to say it that way because they grew up in these environments that they wanted to just live a life the complete opposite of that. So that's nice. I'm glad you got to have a good experience growing up. And you said you grew up in Washington, in Wenatchee, Washington, apple capital of the world.
It is. How do you like them apples?
Yeah, I like them. I think they're good. How did all those apples impact your life? No, I'm totally kidding.
We had cherries, cherry orchards.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What was your life like growing up there? Like
Oh,
really, what was it really like?
really? I hated it
You
because
see, well, hold on, time out, because you're Miss Positivity right now. You grew up in a place that you hated.
yeah.
Why?
Why did I hate it?
Yeah.
I remember feeling trapped. I felt
Mm.
trapped. I didn't love it. I felt bigger than it was there. Like I just felt like I always wanted more. I was like, I'm here to do bigger things. And I didn't say I grew up like in the best of conditions either, because I had a very chaotic childhood. And so, it's just, but we grew up with farm life, small town, and just always felt like that, there was more for me in the world. I don't know. And so,
What kind of things were on your farm?
kind of animals.
You had animals?
Oh yeah.
What kind?
I like went to fair with them. I got ribbons and
Were
stuff.
you in 4-H?
Yes, I was.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you're a farm girl.
Yeah, some people don't even know what 4-H is.
This guy does, because guess who else grew up on a farm?
In 4-H?
No,
Oh, well.
but I know about it. I go to that fair all the time. So you decide when did you move to Austin?
I moved here the first time, 2012, and the second time, 2022.
Okay.
10 years apart.
Okay, and then you're taking off soon
Yeah.
because you're called to do so.
Yes. And that's one of those things where it's like I can only see a few steps ahead of me. And sometimes I'm like, wow, like we're doing this. But I just have a feeling there's more for me. There's more evolution. There's more expansion. And I'm trusting that. So
Okay, sending good vibes your way.
thank
It's gonna
you.
be amazing. I know it.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to your daily routine when in business, okay, what is it actually like to do what you do? What are some good things, some challenging things? Like, what does that look like? I could tell you all day about real estate,
Yeah.
with the suck, the good, and all that stuff. Well, like, you got to have the roller coaster because you're an entrepreneur.
I mean, yeah. And
what is
it's been like, because I think for me, it's like, and maybe that's because I am an entrepreneur. It's like, it's not linear at all. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. It's different a lot. So, and I think that this is what I've learned is that, entrepreneurship for me, it's an ever evolving thing. And as I evolve as a person, my business evolves. And that maybe that's the difference too with what I do, because it's very like soul led. Like I'm helping people with very like soulful things, like how to live a soul aligned life. I am the first person doing that. I'm demonstrating that, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's interesting because even right now I'm transitioning things a little bit even, and it's my calling. It's like I think that, coaching was kind of the entry for me a little bit, but I've always seen myself doing bigger things and more things. And so I'm like, what does that look like now? Like, where are we going this year? And just kind of reevaluating what that looks like. But
What about the magic moments that you've got within your field?
magic moments?
Yeah. For me, for example, when a first-time buyer closes on a house, it is so exciting. It is so cool. What about for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same like when people feel like they have this calling, they just don't know what it looks like. It's what I love about it is it feels very ethereal, like this very like purpose, like what is that? But when people can really like see it in front of them and like feel it and like hold it, is like that is so exciting to me because I don't think a lot of people have that. I think a lot of people are like, I don't know, I kind of think I know it, I don't know. But these people, my clients, they know it and they can see it. Like it's a vision. And it's not just that, but like it's such a part of them that they're integrating now. They are going to walk with that the rest of their lives. So it's really important and it's really special.
With passion comes endless appetite. So you're helping them tap into that passion.
Yeah, and it's one step in a direction that's going to evolve as they do, but now they kind of have the tools, to evolve with them. That's going to help them.
You work with men and women?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you noticed any differences with their mindsets?
Sure. Well, yeah.
Ooh, I'd love to tap into that for a second. So curious.
Well, it's, I think we do tend to attract certain like patterns of clients too. I have noticed, so I think that's interesting. But here's the thing though, like the purpose stuff for me, like when I work with people on that, it's all gendered, but like actually my truest purpose and calling is truly women's work. And that's actually how I started. And it's actually kind of where I'm going to be going. So,
all right.
And that's kind of because it's such a deeper movement for me. So that's where I'll be going. But
Deeper movement. What is that?
Well, so this is how I see it. Like some people say they have a mission, but when you have this calling that's beyond you, it's coming from God. It's coming from something way bigger. It's a movement. It's not just about a mission, right? Like an assignment. It's like, this is a movement and we are making ripple effects in the world.
Mm. Wow. Wow. So on a personal level, you wake up every day. What keeps you that spark? What gets you excited?
I mean, I can barely go to sleep sometimes.
Podcast?
I'm so excited.
This? No, it can't be this.
No, this work. This, once you know what you're here to do, it's like your creativity like blows up. Like you're just always, I just feel like for me at least, it's like you're just always aligned with that. And you're like, what can I do to like expand on that and like give back and be part of, and continue this movement forward. And it's just, there's so much.
What about principles that you embed into your practice? Do any kind of stand out to you often when you're going through your daily routine?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, one that stands out to me all the time is success happens when priorities happen in the right order. So I'm always asking myself, is this a priority? Should I say no to this? Is this in alignment with my goals? Questions like that. Do you have any like powerful questions that you go through often that flash themselves in front of you by chance?
Like for me personally?
Yeah.
In the work?
Yeah, as you're going through the entrepreneurial lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, so one of my biggest things, I'm really, really big on ego and like ego work or soul, because I think, I mean, we are humans. We're going to constantly be, like our ego's going to talk to us all day, every day, but so is our soul. And I mean, when you can tell the difference between the language of each, it'll change your whole life.
Tell us more.
Oof, it's so good. Because,
Yeah.
well, because so many people, like we don't realize, when you know the difference between the voices and what each sounds like, so many people are operating from their ego. And it's like, this is the part of you that wants to protect you, right? And so it's like when you're operating from that place, you might think you're making decisions from, like, it's usually from your head, from logic. Oh, that makes sense. That's logical. But then you feel empty and you don't feel fulfilled and you're like confused or like something doesn't work out because you're not actually following the truth of who you are or your soul. And your soul is not about like, I don't know, it's just not black and white. Like your like ego can be very black and white.
How do you know when you're listening to your soul compared to your ego?
Yeah, so ego is a very emotionally charged energy. So it can feel angry, anxious, like it's very loud. So it's going to be like the thoughts that overpower, because you have to understand that like it's primal. It's like survival brain, right? So like which is a great thing. If you're in danger, you want your ego to be loud because it can get you out of a situation.
High alert.
Exactly. And so it's going to be louder. It's going to be charged with emotion.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel like I need to figure this thing out. I need to figure this out. That's all your ego trying to protect you. That's how you can simplify it. It's usually always about fear.
And then what about the soul?
Soul is much quieter. And it's like a knowing. It's a feeling that doesn't necessarily have an emotion. It can be very neutral. But it's just like, I just feel like that's right. I don't know why, but I just know. And it's like, it doesn't feel like an emotional thing. It just feels like it makes sense, you know?
It feels like a current, flow, as opposed to an alarm.
Right. Sure. Yeah. It's like
going for metaphors here.
Yeah, it's like a line.
Like
it's
a
just
cheeseburger metaphor.
Yeah. And it's the truth of, if you sat down, this is what people don't do because we're in a very fast-paced world. But if you sat down and gave yourself 10 minutes of space and silence, that's what people are not listening. They're not getting to that voice because they're just operating off of a lot of times the ego. Like, I got to survive. I got to get through this. I got to do this. I got to figure this out. And it's like, you're just operating from that all the time. Of course, you're listening to that like more.
On a percentage basis, what would you suggest somebody do from operating in that headspace as to creating space for themselves in a day? Which makes sense? What's the sweet spot? Like 20% alone time?
It's kind of like
reflection.
Once you've gotten to understand what it sounds like and you can tell the difference, it's like a practice, it's like a habit, right? Like anything, it's like a muscle. So the more you work that out, the more you've figured this out, the easier it comes to you. You don't really have to think about it anymore. Now I know immediately which one it is. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's my ego trying to keep me safe. Okay. But like, and it's just, people have this idea that I want to get rid of the ego or abolish the ego, but like, it's not about that. It's about learning to like accept that part of you because we're human. That's literally what being human is.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're going to work together now. How do we work together? And I just want to say, thanks for trying to protect me, but we're good. It's like developing a relationship with that. But throughout the day, I think that if you could take intentional time in the bookends of your day, which are the most, very important parts of your day, morning and the evening.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Called like the bookends of your day. If you can like, because through the day, you're going to be doing your thing, getting things done, but the morning, having that like hour to yourself, and even in the evening, have an hour to yourself is like so imperative to your overall. I'm very into holistic health. It's overall going to help every single part of your life, every one of those components, like, body, mind, soul. It's going to matter.
What about experiences where you're completely disconnected, such as a silent retreat? Would you recommend those for everybody? If so, how often should they do something like that?
A silent retreat?
Sure. Because no phones, no communication.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
completely centered.
I haven't done one personally, but I heard great things. And I think a digital detox, I mean, we weren't built to be online like this 24/7,
Yeah, well, and we are.
And we are. So I think this is what I kind of think. I reflect about like on everything. And I think think about if you were to take something away from you. Think about what that would feel like in your body. And if it feels a little bit like, oh, it feels anxious, that tells you something. That's information. So if you're like, if someone took your phone away for a day, how would it feel? Most people would go, I wouldn't love it. Well, maybe that's a cue. That's a cue that we should probably do it, and start doing. And same with coffee when you're asking about caffeine. Like I've thought about that personally. I'm like, shoot, if someone took that away from me for a day, like I have a dependency probably like most people on something. We all have it on something. So we have to really think about those things and how that's impacting us.
Yeah. Yeah. And coming up with a strategy to help kind of counteract the minutia of everyday life. Because it's very easy to get wrapped up. It's easy to be on your phone 24/7, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think it's paying attention too to how you feel. Again, this is another thing is like you have to pay attention to how things feel in your body. And you mentioned disconnected. I think so many people are disconnected. They're not even aware of what they're feeling. But like I noticed I kind of ramped up. I was like, I need to start doing because business content more, be on my phone. And I was like, whoa, after like a week or two, I was like, oh my goodness, I understand why the kids are depressed. This is messing with me.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
My buddy told me the other day, he goes, the second I get on Instagram, he says he starts feeling sick to his stomach.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty sensitive.
It's a sign that we are like, yeah, we have to have good energetic hygiene or energetic hygiene, which is boundaries around things. So just creating those, it's possible to have a relationship, a healthy. I don't believe in absolutes of like, oh, this is toxic. I mean, social media or internet can be very toxic or can be very, very positive. It's all about how you use it. It's a tool like anything. And so it can have either side. There's a light and a shadow to everything.
How do you turn into something positive?
I mean, you have to like, again, have the good boundaries where you're not getting sucked into something that is like some deep, dark web situation or like, I don't know, like hate comments or anything of the shadow. It's like using it for what it's meant for in a positive way. If you're spreading positivity or you're creating a business that's going to help people and you're putting that out there, of course you can use a tool like that, right? You have to in today's world.
So when it comes to sharpening your craft, because, in whatever you do for work, you've got to stay polished on what's going on in the world and get better and better as time goes on. Other than obviously working with clients on a day-to-day, how do you become better at what you do?
Because I put myself first.
Yeah.
It's always you first, business second. And when you're good, because you're the vessel for anything you bring into this world, it's only going to benefit your business.
But what about like trainings and stuff or being a part of a community to help you sharpen your craft?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, for me personally, I'm like a student of life and like I love learning new things. So I'm constantly like in something. I mean, I do believe in space. Like right now I'm in like what you might consider in Ayurveda as kapha energy, which is like when you're taking a sacred pause.
Bless you.
Cough. Oh my God. So we do like Dharma is actually in Ayurveda intertwined. But yeah, so, I'm either in like a program of some kind or a course of some kind. I mean, I'm always wanting to learn something that's part of the evolution of where I'm going.
And what's impacted you the most along the way?
Out of like things that I've like done training wise. I don't know if there's like one specific. I went to like retreats even too, but again, I think it's like, it's funny because my business is so intertwined with my life, like who I am and my lifestyle, that it's like, they kind of blend together.
All is one.
Kind of, yeah. Because like a retreat, right? That's going to be personal, but it's also business because there is like that networking component and getting to know other people who are doing the same type of work, like, soul-led business. And, it's like kind of all connected.
Soul-led business.
Yes.
I think every business should be partially soul-led.
Yes, but it's not.
No. Why not?
It's funny because I kind of differentiate it with like entrepreneur versus soulpreneur personally, because there's entrepreneur. Entrepreneur means you're solving a problem and you're making a profit. Sometimes that's the only goal someone has. They don't have to care about that. They don't have to be invested in their soul. They just can be like, that's going to make money. Sweet, let's do it. You know, soulpreneur or soul-led business is like, I really care about this. I want to help people. I want to be of service in some way. This is going to impact someone's life. Like that's soul-led. But, you know, entrepreneurship in general isn't always soul-led.
What would you, I appreciate you touching upon that. That makes complete sense. If somebody were to write a book on you, what would you want to be known for?
I mean, gosh, there's so many things. There's this joke of like, I've lived so many lives in this one life. Yeah, so far. We still got a ways to go, you know?
Fingers crossed.
I mean, oh gosh, where's the wood? You know?
There's none. Sorry.
Shoot. Yeah, but I truly do believe it would be helping people. I mean, I'm really, really big on experiences in general.
Yeah.
You know, big or small, but I think I love helping people just enjoy this journey, whatever that looks like for them. Like having an experience that impacts their life, meaning like they get to actually like have fun, that they get to feel like they're alive and that they're aligned and that, I don't know, it's just like, it's simple. That's pretty simple, I guess, but like.
It should be simple.
Yeah.
I think we overcomplicate things.
We do.
Most things.
We do. We love to overcomplicate things. Humans.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up with that?
Well, it's funny because I have an answer. Do you want to know?
Yes. That's why you're here.
Well, we love to solve problems.
You're the pro.
Humans love to solve problems because it makes us feel what? Safe. And because we feel in control. If we can solve a problem, it means that we know how to solve a problem, meaning we can be safe. But everything comes back down to this. It's so interesting. So we overcomplicate things because we think that if we can think our way into a solution, we will feel safe. And so we do it almost like intentionally, unconsciously.
But it doesn't work that way.
No.
So the power of letting go. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's again being like trusting this journey, trusting yourself, trusting your soul is going to lead you in the right direction.
Where are you going with all this stuff, Kendra? Because you've got all this energy, right? And you can impact a lot of people with it. So what's the big picture here? What's the vision?
Yeah. So right now, I mean, where I'm headed and back to kind of the book, I guess, and I don't have an answer because this is evolving right now, but back to my general work, I truly feel called to, you know, I'm a leader in the new paradigm, as we say. Like, I think that things are changing. And for women, I feel like women have often felt like this kind of pull between I feel like I'm too much or I'm not enough. And like a lot of women want to share their voice, but they have felt like, you know, they haven't been able to. You know, I speak about the witch wound even, that we've been literally like killed for using our voices or for being powerful. And women want to feel like they can step into their power and share their magic. And I just feel like that's what I want for people. I want women to feel that way. I want them to feel confident. I want them to feel like they have a connection to themselves, their intuition. I mean, this is important. And I feel like that's, you know, a lot of the stuff I'm here to do is help women feel like reclaiming that.
Now, I've asked this question in the past, and the answers, I don't know if they get my question, because like, for example, who do you look up to? And then sometimes people will respond, myself or Jesus. And there's nothing wrong with those answers, but really, okay? Like, is there anybody you look up to that you'd like to emulate?
No.
Look, okay, well, I can make 50. Tim Ferriss, Grant Cardone, right? Ed Miley. I like all the things that they're doing, so I like to emulate them. There's nobody out there that, you know, they're doing some big things that you admire or...
I mean, I think maybe it's the question. Maybe it's the phrasing of my question.
It's my fault. I know this. Thank you.
Because I remember getting asked that even in school or something. And be like, who's your role model? Or who do you want to be like when you grow? And it's like, I never felt like I had an answer to that ever. And to this day. But of course, I'm big on, you know, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read. I have a lot of teachers. Who are some of those people?
Yeah, who you listen to? You
know who I love? One of my favorite teachers is Mark Groves. I mean, he's a freaking genius. We love him.
And I don't know him.
My goodness.
I'm missing out, right?
He's great. Yeah. He started talking about relationships and stuff. He's branched out into lots of things. He's just got I think I don't know if you notice this with your like mentors or people, is you tend to kind of be like, we think a lot alike, and you can tell, you just feel so aligned with them, so resonant with them. And there's a woman I recently discovered who I really love her work. Her name's Kathy Heller.
Okay.
She's amazing. And she talks about it's just so many things. I'm just like, wow. I resonate with her a lot. I love her work.
Where's she at?
Where's she at?
Yeah, do you know where she lives?
In LA.
In LA?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Would you ever want to have a conversation with her?
Yeah, absolutely. I probably will, to be honest.
Yeah, well, how come you haven't had one yet?
I just discovered her like a couple weeks ago. Well,
okay.
A little bit ago.
The reason I like to ask is we're going to put that in the universe.
Yeah.
Because you just never know what's going to happen.
No, I can feel it.
I think it'd be great for you to talk with her.
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yeah.
Heller.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Okay. So when it comes to a message, what's your message that you think that everybody in the world should hear?
Ooh. Like one message?
All you get is one.
Gosh.
Yeah, we're like taking a math test over here. Oh. She's just so good. You're doing great.
I don't know. That's hard. One message. One singular message.
Yeah, like if the whole world was listening to you right now, what would you want them to hear? No wrong answer.
I mean, I don't have like a quote or anything. I just think about things I want people to feel that they again, it comes down to a lot of the work that I do, but it's not really like a motivational quote or anything. So
yeah, whatever you're thinking, that would work.
Now it's going to be one of those things where I'm like, I can't, now I'm having a block because I'm trying to think of it.
No sweat. So check it out. You're going to help a lot of women. Yeah. And you're going to move halfway across the country soon. In theory. Right? Like it's in the works. Gosh, Kendra, sounds like you have a lot going on in your life. And you definitely match the protocol to be on this podcast. It's called the Elite League Podcast because we take experts in their field, which is you, and we talk a little bit about what they have going on. And I think that your message is very powerful. More people need to hear it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. How do people get a hold of you, Kendra?
Well, I'm most active on Instagram at Kendra Desiree.
Is that your middle name?
It is my middle name.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's my name on everything. So my website, KendraDesiree.com.
Yeah.
I am on every platform at that name.
Okay. Well, folks, you heard it here first. Kendra Desiree on Instagram. What if they want to email you? Is that not really your shtick?
Yeah, if you go to my website, there's contact forms, so you can always get a hold of me that way or DM me. I mean, I'm in my DMs. I love talking to my community. I love connecting. Like, I am not off limits. Like, I love to be able to connect with people. It's honestly why I'm there. I'm not there just to like throw stuff up there. Like, we're here to like, chat and talk and connect.
Are you taking new clients right now?
Yeah, I do. I actually have a few offers up on my website right now. That have some openings. There might be a wait list depending on when someone hears this, but information should be there. Okay.
Awesome. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Kendra Desiree, thanks so much for coming by to the Elite League Podcast. That was fired up.
Yeah.
Tore it up
Thanks
today.
so much.
Nice job.
Thanks.
Seriously, that was like a smooth current of conversation. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe. And until next time, everybody, stay fired up.